I want to end the episode today by talking about the new Joker soundtrack by, I'm going to try to pronounce her name right. I'm probably going to mess it up, but I did try to look it up so that I would pronounce it right. So I'm making an honest attempt, but by Hildur Gudnadottir. I hope I did that right. Everyone's been talking about this film lately, as well as the soundtrack, which has been getting a lot of praise, and rightfully so, I think. And so I figured I might throw my 2 cents into the well here, and also maybe we can get a good discussion going on here, although maybe that's wishful thinking for a YouTube video. I have seen the film twice now in theaters, and I've listened to the soundtrack on Apple Music from front to back once. So just keep in mind that my review is stemming from just that, and only that. 2 viewings and 1 listen through of the soundtrack. And one of those viewings was me just trying to enjoy the film like a normal human being without paying a lot of attention to the music, unless it demanded it, I guess. The soundtrack is primarily built on this solo cello sound, which is quite raw and broken sounding. You know, it's being played in a way which I don't know if it's like sol ponticello or what the exact technique is. I haven't read anything about it, but it's not the normal way that you would play the cello, okay? And I think the decision to craft the score in such a way that this is the focus was a good decision and an appropriate decision. The main focus of the film is on this character, the Joker, who is a very broken and disturbed person. It's an intimate character study of this character. And so I think it made sense for the score to reflect that, in that we're focusing on this one instrument in a very intimate way. The cues throughout the opening sequence were great. They set the stage well, I think. It had a very oppressive feeling to it. It felt like there was a huge weight on your shoulder from the beginning. And I loved the sequence in the bathroom when the Joker is dancing to the cello music. From what I understand, a lot of the music was composed ahead of time, which is not typical, but does allow for this kind of choreography to happen. So I thought that was great. After my first viewing, I felt like the score didn't develop as much as it could have, given the immense development that the character of the Joker undergoes. And this is a problem that I generally have with a lot of modern scores now. But again, that was only after my first viewing, and at that time I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the music. So I thought, well, you know, whatever, it's not a big deal. I'll just give it another shot and actually pay more attention. And after the second viewing, and with paying a little more attention to the music, I get it. It's more, you know, you might call it vertical development, where we're basically adding instruments into the mix. And that's fine. So where we have just the cello in the beginning, at some point we start to add the full string orchestra, then the brass, then the percussion, until the full orchestra is playing as the Joker fully becomes the Joker at the end. The orchestra is sort of in a way giving him his power, or at least reflecting his confidence level in a way, so that's great. My main issue with the score, my main criticism, and it's a bit of a nitpick, and certainly doesn't take away from my enjoyment of it, and in fact probably has nothing to do with the decision made by the composer. It's probably more of a director or a producer's type of deal. But I did feel like sometimes the music didn't need to be there, okay? Not because it was bad. There were just times when the music would come in for about a minute and then stop, like in the middle of a tense scene. And it felt like its only job was to say, hey, remember, this is supposed to be uncomfortable, when I don't think that reminder was really necessary. If you want to make a raw, intimate, and uncomfortable film, which it seems like that's what they were after, then I wish they would have just committed to that and committed to it in the musical sense. So it seems like maybe the director or the producers weren't confident enough in it and decided to confide more so in the music than I felt was necessary. Now, it's just my opinion. And again, very small criticism. I think overall it's brilliant. All of that aside, I really enjoyed it. I think Hildur did a great job with it, and curious to hear what your thoughts are on the soundtrack.
Question is an answer. Leave it as a question with another question. A bit of a dodgy question. Dodgy question. Yeah. Question is an answer. Leave it as a question with another question. A bit of a dodgy question. Dodgy question. Yeah.